Hello everyone, welcome to this End Times Watcher session. My name is Kyle and I am just an End Times Watcher. I'll be sharing what I read and perceive from the Bible pertaining to End Times. We have been having big bad wolves, big bad storms through this month. I am sure those of you in Singapore and Malaysia, especially Penang, had just seen one of the worst storms of the century. It hit Thailand, Vietnam, Philippines and China as well. Let's take a step back. In June, we had catastrophic flooding in Midwest USA. In July, China suffered severe losses from strong typhoon that hits Fujian province. But the storms in June-July are just the warm-ups. September is the real monsoon and typhoon season. We see massive and fierce storms across the region. 2nd September, Typhoon Yagi hits Philippines. 5 days later, it blasted through northern Vietnam. And then 4 days later, flooding is rampant in the northern provinces of Thailand. I use is because the flooding is still ongoing. Chiang Rai is one of the worst hit. The government is issuing flood warnings across more than half of Thailand. The amount of rain coming down is many times more than the usual. On September 16, another typhoon slammed into Shanghai, causing everything there to a standstill. If your order from AliExpress or Taobao was delayed, be happy that it arrived. China calls it the strongest storm in the last 70 years. In Penang, the storm uprooted trees and destroyed many vehicles. This was 18 September. 2 tourists from China died when a tree crashed into their car. This was not the only tree that fell that day in Penang. A day earlier in Singapore, 17 September, not only were trees falling like dominoes in the central forested area, big strong trees were uprooted around the residential areas. The picture on the right, that tree was torn off the ground as if it has no foundational roots. This is rare in Singapore. A friend brought to my notice that the storm came the day after the Pope left Singapore. Is this judgment from God? The Pope promoted one world religion. Many say yes, this is God's judging. But I also heard others say that the dark side started manifesting as soon as he flew off. I will address this, but bear with me as we look at more data. 16 September, Shanghai was hit. 17 September, Singapore was hit. 18 September, Penang was hit. And in Thailand, this started since early September and is still ongoing, one after another. But was our Southeast Asia and East Asia the only place seeing such fierce and massive storm? In United States, they could not make sense of the hurricane moving towards the land. It did not follow the known weather forecast technique. And on 16 September, North Carolina saw torrential rainfall never seen before. They call it once in a 1,000-year event. But not just America, in Europe as well. Bucharest, Romania experienced it on 15 September. And a few days later, Central Europe saw flooding that killed people and destroyed properties. There are also spiritual storms. Israel is being bombarded with heavy barrage of rockets. While they could intercept many of these rockets, many went through. Civilian lives are lost and properties destroyed. While I was preparing this video, a storm attacked my personal life as well. I felt as if it was impeding me from completing this message. In fact, it had delayed me a few days already. But with God by our side, we push forward. His strength and His grace is sufficient for us. Let's review what I said earlier this year in session S07. That was a rare session that I devoted it entirely to predicting the future. I risked making a fool of myself and shared my forecast of what to expect for the next 12 months. I showed WEF forecast of the top 10 global risks of the last 2 years. 2023 is forecast for 2024 and 2024 is forecast for 2025. The blue highlights are related to weather. I predicted that they will see worse climatic disaster from July onwards. In July, US and China were hit, but it was not enough for us to take notice. But this month, September, it slammed into America, Europe, and East Asia. These three regions are 8 hours apart, like 3 tripods across the globe. On hindsight, I should have said extreme weather events. WEF is so accurate that they can be called prophets. You got my hint? Whatever WEF predicted is happening. We are now in the July-December period. What about January to June next year? In May, I said, expect erratic and unpredictable weather. I believe we will see dry weather on the first half of next year, so dry that we will see crop failure. By the way, crops are now drowning from the flood. So brace yourself for food shortage next year. Those who are familiar with systems theory will know that there is a time lapse between crop failure and feeling the effects of food shortage. So we will start to feel it only in 2025. And then, because WEF also predicted the economy, I forecasted recession and stagflation. You can go back and check S07. Please allow me to clarify myself. I use WEF data to help me make the forecast, not because I think they are prophetic. It is the opposite. I already stated before that they are the front runner of the Babylonian system, and the forces behind them have the capability to engineer these things. They make these forecasts, and then they make it happen, and then they make use of this to push the agenda forward. So, were these storms from God? To me, this is the dark time that God allows the devil to play. And God had already warned us of these things to come through the Bible and through his people. I am not a prophet, but I am a watchman for God. I cannot hold back what has been downloaded into me. But do not fear, the devil's stage on the earth is only for a short time. In May, I also brought up the benefits of converting some of your cash into physical gold. And my statement was clear: invest in gold. From the perspective of protecting your savings from erosion, any time is a good time to buy gold. And if you had heeded my call in May, your gold investment had already gone up by more than 10%. In terms of recession, one do not need to be prophetic to know. Let me share what the real market gurus are saying. The real market gurus are not those paid by mainstream media. The grey vertical bars are the recession period. Since 1998, each time the Feds increase interest rate, they hold for a few quarters, and when they start to reduce interest rate, recession follows within a few quarters. This is contrary to what we learned in school. The Fed's high interest rate to increase inflation, and then they reduce interest rate to stop recession. Business will recover because people will start spending. Low interest rate means one can buy car, buy house, take bank loans. This is economics 101. My friend explained the real phenomena to me. Economy reactions has many factors. I won't claim I understand them all. But one key factor that counters this monetary policy is unemployment. When many people are out of a job, they will not spend. Business cannot recover, so they cannot hire new people. Unemployment cannot improve, and instead we can expect it to spiral down towards recession. The Feds have been halting interest rate for the last few quarters. You can see the flattening of the curve. And last week, they made a 50 basis point drop in interest rate. Not 25 points, but 50 points. With very high unemployment in US today, if they continue to further interest rate drops, we can expect recession. And when US sneezes, the rest of the world catch a cold. However, I could be wrong, and the market gurus could also be wrong because there are other factors that can come into play. If Trump wins the election, he will most likely print tons of money. If he prints enough, he may just halt or slow down recession. He did that the last time. We know that printing money is just kicking the can of worms further down the road. But whatever comes, just seek God for direction. We are living in volatile times. All these doom and gloom messages again. Must we watch our spending? It is no fun racing against it. But since you have been warned, there are many actions that you can take, not just buying gold. Look at this as an opportunity. Yes, in every dark cloud, there is always a silver lining. We can use this coming tough time to help others, bless those around us that have need, act out the love of God. By this, we will earn the right to share the love of Jesus and win them over. Why do I keep reminding us all to win souls? Because Jesus tells us that the field is already ripe for harvest. Do not say we have another 4 months. If we procrastinate, we may lose this last window of opportunity. Get up and do the will of God. But I don't know how to preach or evangelize. Well, you're not alone. I wanted to go to the streets with a signboard to warn everybody. But then I realized that it is just not me. No, not at all. I will freeze and I will stammer, just trying to connect to a stranger. But we can sow. We can do our little acts of kindness and love. let others do the reaping. This is a true saying. One sows and another reaps. Both are found faithful and righteous in the eyes of our Father, and both sower and reaper will rejoice together. My friends, we are living in the end days. Our Lord is coming back soon. Don't lose this window of opportunity to be a faithful servant. For the next few sessions, I should be doing from Daniel chapter 7 onwards. We will pick up clues regarding the character of Antichrist. But of course, if God tells me otherwise, I may share a different topic which I do not know yet. Walking by the voice of God is full of unknowns, but it is exciting because it can never be wrong. Till then, this is Kyle. See you in the next session. If you find this video beneficial, please click the like icon. YouTube algorithm automatically recommends it to others if there is higher like counts. You can also subscribe to my channel so that you can see my past and future videos. Finally, please forward and share with your friends so that they too can benefit. Thank you and God bless.